Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to share my experience hiring virtual assistants and share a guide with you that you can follow if you want to free up time on your calendar and assign and outsource those tasks to virtual assistants. So the first thing is I actually follow a framework called the EDE Framework to manage my tasks, and it stands for eliminate, delegate, and execute. So the first thing I do when I get a task that I have to work on is I try to eliminate it. Is there a way that I do not really need to do this task? So that's the elimination phase. And any task that comes to me, and you'll find that, you obviously know that throughout the day, you'll have all of these tasks coming to you. The best way to productivity, to having better days and better outcomes, is to say no to most of those tasks. And that's the elimination phase. So try to eliminate as much as possible. If a task survives through your elimination phase, then you can go to the delegate phase. And this is where virtual assistants, employees, team members, all of these people are really helpful. You want to delegate the task to someone else. That should be your second priority. If you can delegate it, delegate and forget about it. Make sure you have good team players, A players as I call them, so you can delegate these to A players and then actually forget about it. The problem with B players or C players is that you can delegate, but you may not be able to forget about it. And you will still have to go back to them, check in with them, spend your time, energy, and stress on the same task that you've already delegated. So delegation only makes sense when it's delegated to A players. And this is the phase where we're going to use virtual assistants, and we're going to see that in a moment. The third one is execute. Now, all of the tasks that are on the business, that are creative, that need strategy, that need thinking, and for me, that also need analytics and data-driven decision-making, I like to execute those tasks. And that's the third step of the EDE framework, to actually execute on those tasks that are left, that have been filtered out already, the ones you could not eliminate, the ones you could not delegate, and the ones you really want to do because they need some form of creativity, strategy, analytics, the things that you are really good at. For me, these are the things that I choose. For you, it could be something else, but depends on what really moves the needle for your business. So we're going to talk a moment about these tasks of on the business versus in the business. So there are these tasks like developing relationships with executives, or networking, or developing strategies for the next few years for your business. And these are all tasks that are on the business. These are things that you need to work on in order to push the business forward. While the second bucket of tasks is the task in the business. And these are the tasks that are operational. These are the things like delivering a particular project. If you're running an agency, for example, should be handled by your project manager, by the way. Or, for example, accounting or hiring, posting job descriptions, writing content, all of those things could be categorized as in the business. Of course, it depends on what business you are in. So for example, if you're developing a personal brand to improve your business, that's an on the business task. But if you want to have a few blog posts for your company and the blog is just for branding, it's not your main source of acquisition of new customers, then that particular blog would be treated in the business. But if you're a blogger and that's your main business, then that blog moves you forward and increases your affiliate income, let's say for example, becomes on the business. So I try to focus on those on the business tasks, and within both of these buckets you can use virtual assistants, and that's the good part. So let's say for example, in the business you have accounting, bookkeeping, all of this can be outsourced to virtual assistants. On the business, let's say you're doing business development, you want to focus on talking to customers, you actually want to focus on those discovery calls, and then outsource the rest to virtual assistants. So you could have one VA that is doing the cold email outreach. You could have one VA who's writing LinkedIn messages on your behalf to potential customers. So you could have all of these things outsourced. Now let's talk about a few tips and things that have worked for me in hiring virtual assistants. The first thing that has worked best for me is Upwork. Now, I'm not affiliated with Upwork. I've just been using Upwork for a very long time, and that has got me the most reliable virtual assistants. And I work with them on Upwork so that I'm sure that when I start a new relationship, I have this trust in between, right? The second thing that has worked for me is Philippines. Now, no offense to any other countries, but Philippines has got me the best virtual assistants. Now, one of the things that you need to keep in mind is that typically when I'm outsourcing to a VA, I have SOPs in place. And the person basically just needs to follow the process step by step. I have proper documentations, and this is something that I've found people in the Philippines to be really, really good at. The second advantage, of course, of Philippines is that they all speak English. The third one is that they are, they have a very strong work ethic. When it comes to delivering tasks, they will ask questions, they will get it done. And these are the things why I believe that Philippines worked out the best for me, even though I have hired virtual assistants from various countries. The third thing that has worked for me is instead of hiring a general virtual assistant, I hire specialists. So if they're not specializing in a certain process, I will train them on that process. Instead of having a general VA who does everything for me, I would have one person who's managing my YouTube videos. I would have one person who's basically managing the SEO on my blogs. I would have one person who's helping me with the email outreach. So that's how I like to do it. And the reason that it's easy to do this is because you're basically paying on an hourly basis. So you can train one person for a specific thing and they're working with other clients. So you don't have to buy their entire month, so to speak. You get them on an hourly basis and pay them for the tasks that they're executing. You could argue that if I have a deeper relationship with one virtual assistant, have them do everything, I may be getting better results. But for me, that was not the case. There are people, you hire them full-time, they may move out, you have all of these SOPs. I change my businesses from time to time, I change my SOPs from time to time. So I like to have people focused on a certain SOP. It could be 1 or 2 or 3 SOPs within that same space, right? So based on the examples that I gave you, I have specialist VAs for all of these different things. So those are the key things that have worked for me. So hiring from Upwork, hiring from the Philippines, assigning specialist VAs instead of general VAs are like the 3 main things that I follow. And I hope that these will also help you hire your virtual assistant. So one last thing that I would like to say is that the more you can do the essential, most important tasks, the better your business will become, right? And all of the other things, you'll have to develop your own framework. For me, the EDE framework works really well. So think about a framework that can get you to execute the most essential tasks, because that's going to make most of the difference. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.